Welcome to a masterclass in the architecture of the human spirit. Most people believe that intelligence is a fixed metric, a number etched into a certificate or a score on a standardized test. They look at the world through the lens of IQ and academic achievement, assuming that the person with the most facts in their head is the one who will eventually sit at the head of the table. They are wrong. Intelligence, in its most potent and dangerous form, is not about what you know. It is about the mask you choose to wear to navigate the hierarchies of the world. It is the ability to hide your true face behind a curated persona, to bend the perceptions of others until their reality serves your ambition. Think of the social landscape not as a community of honest actors, but as a perpetual masquerade. Every interaction you have, whether in a boardroom, a bedroom, or a crowded bar, is a negotiation of power. In these spaces, total honesty is not a virtue. It is a strategic vulnerability. Those who survive and thrive are not necessarily the smartest in the room, but the most adaptable. They understand that the human mind is a flawed instrument, prone to bias, hunger, and the desperate need for comfort. By choosing the right mask, you can feed those needs and lead the person wherever you desire. But the question remains, which mask are you currently wearing? And more importantly, is it the one that will get you what you want? Or is it the one that makes you a target? We are about to dissect the 7 masks of intelligence. We will peel back the skin of social interaction to reveal the raw mechanics of influence, using the wisdom of those who conquered empires and the psychological triggers that define our species. This is not just a study of behavior. It is a study of survival. If these insights open your eyes to the invisible games being played around you, hit that like button now. It signals to the algorithm that you are an observer, not a pawn, and that you are ready for the weight of the truth. The first mask is perhaps the most paradoxical, yet it is arguably the most powerful weapon in the arsenal of a strategist. We call it the student. This is the mask of feigned ignorance. In a world obsessed with ego, where everyone is screaming to be recognized as the smartest person in the room, the student chooses to be the most invisible. They walk into a high-stakes environment and intentionally project a sense of harmless curiosity. They ask questions they already know the answers to. They admit to confusion. They let others teach them. Why would a truly intelligent person ever choose to look like a fool? Because vanity is the greatest blind spot in human nature. When you allow someone else to feel intellectually superior to you, their guard drops. They stop viewing you as a threat and start viewing you as a protege, or even better, as a non-entity. In that space of perceived safety, they become talkative. They reveal their secrets, their insecurities, and their true intentions. As the strategist Niccolo Machiavelli once implied, it is often necessary to play the sucker to catch a sucker. Think of the intern who sits quietly in the corner of the executive meeting, taking notes and asking seemingly naive questions about how the company handles its offshore accounts. The executives, eager to show off their expertise, explain the nuances of their creative accounting. They feel powerful while doing it, but the intern isn't a student. They are an architect. By the time the meeting ends, the student knows where the bodies are buried, while the experts haven't even bothered to learn the student's name. They have gained total information with zero resistance. If you are finding yourself recognizing the power of this subtle game, drop a brain emoji in the comments. It lets me know you understand that silence is often a louder statement than speech. But what happens when the student is done learning? What happens when the information gathered must be turned into a transaction? This brings us to the second mask, a cold and rigid facade that dominates the halls of modern power. The professional. The professional is the mask of total transaction. To the world, this person is the embodiment of efficiency, reliability, and detached competence. They have no personal soul in the public eye. They have no politics, no visible family drama, and no emotional outbursts. They are a ghost in a well-tailored suit. This mask is designed to eliminate the friction of human emotion. When you deal with the professional, you feel you are interacting with a high-functioning machine. This is the intelligence of the machine. By showing no personal self, They become an empty vessel for the ambitions of others. They are the reliable choice for the dirty work, because everyone assumes they are too cold to care and too disciplined to betray. But under that mask of transactional soullessness lies the ultimate strategist. They are not loyal to a person or a cause. They are loyal to the hierarchy itself, climbing it one efficient task at a time. They understand that in a professional setting, being liked is a variable, but being needed is a constant. They make themselves indispensable by being the only ones who can perform without the interference of a conscience. But the machine has its limits. Eventually, people grow wary of the cold. They begin to wonder what is behind the glass. To deflect that suspicion, the strategist often switches to a mask that is as warm as the previous one was cold. We call this mask the Joker. This is not the mask of a clown, but the mask of the jester who tells the truth through laughter. The Joker uses humor as a radar jamming device. They are the life of the party, the person who can make anyone laugh, even their enemies. Humor is the ultimate social lubricant, but in the hands of a Machiavellian, it is also the ultimate distraction. When someone is laughing, they are physically incapable of being on the defensive. Their heart rate changes, their brain releases endorphins, and for a brief moment, their analytical mind shuts down. The Joker uses this window of vulnerability to slip in a barbed truth, or to deflect a difficult question. They hide their intelligence behind a curtain of wit, making people believe they are too fun to be calculating. History is full of these figures. Consider the court jesters of old, who were the only ones allowed to insult the king. Why? Because they wore the mask of the fool. But who was really in control? The king, who was blinded by his own amusement, or the jester, who could steer the policy of the kingdom with a well-timed joke? In modern life, this is the coworker who uses self-deprecating humor to hide their massive ambition, or the politician who cracks jokes during a debate to avoid answering for their crimes. They win not by having the better argument, but by making the audience like them too much to care about the facts. But what if the laughter stops? What if the world turns hostile? This is where the strategist retreats behind a wall of impenetrable stone. This is the fourth mask, the Stoic. The Stoic intelligence is the mask of total emotional indifference. It is the ability to witness chaos, insult, and failure without a single muscle twitching on your face. This mask is designed to make you a psychological void. People hate uncertainty, and nothing is more uncertain than a person who refuses to react. When you refuse to give an emotional response, you force the other person to fill the silence. They will provide their own interpretations of your thoughts, usually driven by their own insecurities. If they insult you and you remain calm, they look weak and you look superior. If they threaten you and you don't flinch, they begin to fear that you know something they don't. The Stoic mask is a fortress. It is the intelligence of the predator that waits for the prey to exhaust itself through its own frantic movements. This brings us to a crucial point in our journey. If you are starting to see that your personality might just be a set of habits you've been tricked into believing are real, subscribe to this channel. The next lessons will reveal how to dismantle those habits and build a self that is capable of true power. Because once you understand the masks, you can no longer be their victim. Now we must look at the most seductive mask of all, the one used by the masters of rapport and the architects of fake intimacy. This is the fifth mask, the mirror. The mirror does not have a personality of its own. Instead, it reflects the other person's personality back at them with surgical precision. If the target is loud and boisterous, the mirror becomes the perfect drinking buddy. If the target is intellectual and reserved, the mirror becomes a deep thinker. We are biologically programmed to like people who are like us. It is a survival instinct from our tribal past. The mirror hijacks this instinct to build instant, fake trust. When you see yourself in someone else, you naturally assume they share your values and your goals. You open up. You lower your boundaries. The mirror is the mask of the soulmate, but it is an illusion created through the study of body language and linguistic patterns. They mirror your posture, your breathing, and your vocabulary until you feel a soul connection that is actually just a psychological echo. But there is a darker side to the masquerade. Sometimes, the most effective way to gain power is not through strength or charm, but through the appearance of absolute morality. This is the sixth mask, the saint. The saint uses virtue as a weapon of dominance. They are the most moral person in the room, always ready to point out the ethical failings of others. They wear the mask of the martyr, the one who sacrifices everything for the cause. But don't be fooled. Moral superiority is a devastating form of leverage. By occupying the moral high ground, the saint makes it impossible for anyone to disagree with them without looking like a villain. They use guilt to control their friends and shame to destroy their enemies. It is the intelligence of the inquisitor. They don't need to be smart, they just need to be right. In modern corporate culture, this is the person who uses social causes to shield themselves from criticism. You can't fire them, you can't question them, and you can't compete with them, because they have wrapped themselves in the flag of virtue. We have reached the final layer of the mind. We have seen the student, the professional, the joker, the stoic, the mirror, and the saint. But who is the one wearing the masks? This brings us to the seventh mask, the ultimate intelligence, the closer. The closer is the master of the masquerade. Their true intelligence is not in any one mask, but in the ability to change them in a heartbeat. The closer understands that a mask is a tool, not an identity. They can be the student in the morning to learn a competitor's strategy, the professional in the afternoon to close a deal, and the joker in the evening to build a network. They have no fixed self. They are a fluid intelligence that adapts to the environment like water, while everyone else is trapped by their own ego trying to be authentic. The closer is free. They understand that authenticity is a trap set by society to make you predictable. By being unpredictable, the closer becomes the one who designs the game others are forced to play. Ask yourself, are you the same person with your boss as you are with your partner? Are you the same person at a funeral as you are at a wedding? Of course not. You are already wearing masks. The only difference is that most people wear them unconsciously, driven by fear and social pressure. The master strategist wears them consciously, driven by purpose and ambition. Think of the great figures of history. Napoleon Bonaparte was a master of the mask. He could be the humble soldier of the revolution when he needed the support of the masses, and the divine emperor when he needed the submission of kings. He didn't have one personality. He had a wardrobe of them. He understood that the image of the man is more powerful than the man himself. Or consider the dark triad research: the narcissist, the Machiavellian, and the psychopath. These individuals are often the most successful in our hierarchies, not because they are inherently better, but because they lack the emotional tether to a single self. They are natural mask wearers. They don't feel the guilt of being inauthentic because they realize that the self is a social construct. This is the forbidden knowledge that society tries to hide from you. They want you to be yourself, because a person who is themselves is easy to categorize, easy to manipulate, and easy to control. A person who can be anyone is a threat to the system. As we close this chapter of our journey, I want you to reflect on your own life. Think of a time when you were honest and it cost you. Think of a time when you tried to be yourself and you were rejected. Now, imagine what would have happened if you had worn the right mask. Imagine the doors that would have opened if you had played the student instead of the expert, or the mirror instead of the critic. This is the power of dark psychology. It is the ability to see the world as it truly is, not as we wish it to be. It is the realization that morality is often a story we tell ourselves to justify our lack of power. True intelligence is the courage to embrace the masquerade. If you are ready to take the final step, to stop being the one who is watched and start being the one who observes, then let us know in the comments where you are watching this from. Let the world know that you are no longer afraid of the dark parts of your mind. And remember, the most dangerous people in the world are not the ones who hate you. They are the ones who understand you too well to ever let you see their true face. Which mask will you wear tomorrow? Choose wisely, because in the end, we all become the masks we wear the most. The masquerade is waiting. Will you be the guest, Or will you be the one who owns the house? Subscribe, because the next lesson will make you rethink everything you believe about human nature. The truth is coming, and it has no mask.